What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. The video that I just made, I don't think any of you have probably seen it yet, right? I mean, by the time you watch this video, maybe. Man, this internet is just terrible. We're getting Starlink whenever I come back from vacation, man. Crypto will dump 15 to 25%. Prepare yourselves, right? This video I think would tie in very well with that, and I actually meant to include these aspects in that video, but I just for whatever reason I forgot. If we're looking at Ethereum here, looking at it from a low to a high, the bear market lows to this high here, not the fake out high, but the actual high right here, I would assume that Ethereum completes the thought. It goes all the way down to the golden ratio, right? Somewhere around there, which would imply that Ethereum drops about, let's be precise here, okay? That it would drop to about a 15% drop from here, 16% drop. Now, this is important because after the video that I just made, based on the others chart, if we're looking at this here, I'm expecting that the others chart goes somewhere down here, something of like a 15 to a 25% drop, right? From the current price, it's about a 15% drop to that low that's at about like a 25, 24% drop, right? Something like that. If Ethereum is showing, and I do believe that it will find support at its golden ratio, if it's showing that it could drop 15 to 16% from here, that would imply that the average altcoin drops at least that, if not more. So calling for a 15 to 25% drop across the board, I think, is pretty damn appropriate. We also have this indicator here. If you're wondering what this blue line is, this is the correlation coefficient, CC, others. I have correlated coefficiented. The correlation coefficient is tethered to others. You can see it says others there. So essentially, this indicator tells us if others, the average altcoin chart, is moving in unison with Ethereum or moving against it. And you can see for most of its life, at least since 2017, does the others chart go all the way back to 2017? It does. Oh wow, it goes even back before then. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's good to know. It's been largely correlated to Ethereum. These charts, they only go from a 1 to a -1, -1 being absolutely opposite, 1 being absolutely symmetrical, right? And here, this is kind of neutral, right? It means like they don't really have too much correlation. But largely, for most of your life, you are correlated with Ethereum. The altcoin markets are correlated with Ethereum. You'd probably see this similar correlation to Bitcoin, but maybe not as tight, okay? I like to think of Ethereum as like the mother duck, and all the little baby ducks follow along. That's just how I like to think of it. For whatever reason, doesn't mean that you have to. It can be another analogy if you want. But looking at the weekly RSI, we are in the oversold zone. Oftentimes, when you get oversold on the weekly, you don't stop at the moment that you get oversold. You do press further. Oftentimes, whenever you crash below your 382, as we have here, your 382, the yellow line, you don't stop until you get to the golden ratio, which is all the way down there at about 1600. 1600 is also an area that you found support on a closing basis here, 16 to 1500, right in that range. Wicks here, you found support, found some resistance here, support kind of right there. Going back in time even more, let's see. You found support right there on a wicking basis as well. I'm not saying that you have to bounce off of 1600. I'm not saying you have to bounce off of 1500, but something in that area, right? Maybe 1400, and you don't have to do any of that. But this, in culmination with the others chart, it makes a lot of sense to me that Ethereum would go to its golden ratio, probably right there at $1,600. And I have another theory too, because I'm not the only person who's aware of this golden ratio. I'm not the only person who has access to this. This is you don't even need to pay for the premium on TradingView, and you have access to this, right? You draw a fib from the low to the high. Everybody's aware of where the golden ratio is. Everybody's aware, if you're just looking at this with your eyes, we're here. Where's the next area to find support? Well, it would be right here, clear as day, or maybe even a little bit higher than that. It wouldn't surprise me if instead of reaching the golden ratio, we reached for it and kind of missed it. There might be some front running going on, right? A lot of the market is pessimistic and bearish on Ethereum, right? People are giving up on it. And the smart money, whenever they see that kind of stuff, that's when they step in. So they will probably, I would assume we could see some front running going on. I'm not necessarily calling for that. My call is, let's be very clear, to go to $1,600. But if we don't reach 1,600, don't be surprised if we stop at like 1,650, 1,700, something like that. We find support just above $1,583 here. Don't be surprised if we find support just above the golden ratio, because it's actually a very possible thing to do, especially in moments like this on a very obvious fib from a bear market low to our current bull cycle high. I very much do expect that Ethereum will recover. I think that the whole alt markets will recover, and that we're going to see some phenomenal growth whenever it comes time for this. we are in some kind of, it's like a reverse ascending triangle. It's not an ascending triangle. You've got a flat base at the top, and then you're descending on your lows. This is what you call a broadening top pattern. Or a broadening triangle. A broadening top technically is like a megaphone where you have higher highs and lower lows. A broadening wedge, you can have, I mean, this could be some form of broadening wedge, but a broadening wedge generally doesn't have a flat line. It'd be like both of them are down, but like this. That's a broadening wedge, right? This is like a anti ascending triangle. It's like a descending triangle, but upside down. I don't know how else to think of it, but it is some kind of broadening top pattern nonetheless. I would expect here, most of these, they have like 5 legs. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's on that 5th leg that you either break out or you break through one way or another. I do think that we go a little bit lower, but I don't think that it's going to break us out of the zone, right? I don't think that dropping down here over the coming weeks is necessarily going to mean that we break out of this range here. In fact, I wonder if we have a line to go off of here. Let's see. Yeah, something like that. It's very common too, actually. This is pretty damn common with broadening top patterns, is that you see what they call a partial decline. Look it up. What's a partial decline? Partial decline is where you reach for this trend line, but you don't quite hit it, right? To hit that trend line, we'd have to go all the way down to $1,200, and I don't see that happening. If that happens, okay, Ethereum, you might be going to the dumps, man. You might be going down. But a partial decline is where you reach for a trend line, but you don't quite get there. Maybe we find support right at 1,600, right where the golden ratio is. Find support and continue to go up. When you're supposed to hit this trend line, that gets you set up for a very phenomenal breakout move that would take you above where the pattern began, or where the pattern's highs are. Okay, if we are to break out to the upside, and I think that we are, Ethereum, after it completes the thought, after it moves down, hey, look at that, you got the 382 at about 1,700 there too. 17 to 1,600, very strong support, you guys. After we complete the thought and we break back up above these highs, whenever Ethereum does get above $4,000 again, we likely won't stop until we see prices somewhere around $7,700, $7,700, or at the very least something that's on the lines of $5,000 to $6,100, somewhere in that area, right? And I'm expecting these targets anything from $5,000 to $7,700, maybe even $8,000. Let's just say $5,000 to $8,000. We're at just under $2,000 now. I would expect we're at those targets by the end of May. If it's not the very end of May, then maybe June, because it's taken so long for this move to take off. It could take a little longer than we originally anticipated, but sometime over the coming months we will be, and I would expect before this year is halfway over. June does not mean that we're halfway through the year. It's the end of June. Once we're in the beginning of July, that means the year is halfway over. So before the year is halfway through, I would expect Ethereum is at new all-time highs. It's really hard for me to imagine that we stop at 5K after being through everything that Ethereum's been through. When we get above here, we're going to stop at our minimum target. I don't think so. When we get above here, we're going to break up to new all-time highs. We're going to stop right there. I don't think so. I think we're going to go at least to 6,100, but even potentially 7,700, 8,000, something like that. And if Ethereum moves up that much, you guys, as concerning or not concerning at all as an extra little 15% to 20% drop might be for the average altcoin based off of Ethereum here, as concerning as that might or might not be, the real concern would be missing out on this phenomenal move, right? If Ethereum moves up 200%, if it moves up 300%, what does that imply for the average altcoin? Well, it definitely does not imply anything bad. That's my assumption. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything that I need to say. I just wanted to really, I wanted to show the correlation to the others market, right? And Ethereum going down will likely bring the rest of the altcoin markets down as well. And then whenever we go up, it's time to party. But that will likely be, oh yeah. I want to talk about invalidations. That's what I want to talk about. If I'm wrong and we are not to go lower, which we don't have to, we could find support here. Sometimes you do find significance at your 0.5. I often say you don't find significance at the, if we do find significance here, I would expect we see a sharp recovery up to about 2,800, which that's not crazy, but for Ethereum, that's nice, right? That's a 50% move. If Ethereum does that, the whole altcoin markets might recover. It's very possible, but what we would need to see for Ethereum to invalidate anything that I've said is you need to close a given week or day, multi-day period above about $2,850. If you can do that, then I'm wrong. We're not going lower. Everything to the upside that I was talking about, it's already happening. It's happening sooner. And I would love that. I would prefer that, but likely that's not going to happen. Likely we do have one last little crash to go. A lot of people are pessimistic and thinking that the bear market is enacted. The people that are bullish or that don't think the bear market's enacted, they're holding on, they're clinging on to hope. What needs to happen is that hope needs to be wiped clean. Everybody needs to start getting super bearish, and once that happens, once we move down, I had somebody tell me that the general market sentiment is bearish because the fear and greed index is high. I actually had multiple people, to be completely fair, telling me that if everybody's bearish, what do you think the price is going to do? It's going to go up. But the thing is, people have remained optimistically bullish. If you were on X.com at all over the past 2 days, everybody and their mother, they were all saying, we need to go long. We need to flush this guy out. They're trying to hunt some guy with a $300 or $500 million position in the markets that was short. And the thing is if you're on X.com, which is a breeding ground for crypto enthusiasts and speculators alike, everybody was bullish. Everybody seems to be bullish. While yes, this is the crypto fear and sentiment, fear and greed index, while that's pretty damn accurate, I feel like the sentiment right now is deliriously bullish. People are actually bullish and thinking that they can push the price up. This whole thing with the $300 to $500 million short position, people got too excited about that and think that if the herd comes together and decides to go in one direction, that means that we're going to go the right direction. But you guys, when the herd's being led one direction, which that's exactly what happened with this whole shenanigans on X with this short trader, the herd was being led in one direction. Normally that direction is to the slaughterhouse. Okay, there are people with a lot bigger funds than the herd by a large degree. Okay, a lot bigger, a lot larger. Maybe I should say larger. So yes, while fear and greed is pretty low, while we do have high fear, that does not necessarily imply that we have to move up right now. We can go lower, especially because I think that the market has found this new bullish sentiment or aspirations to send the price above 86K. By the way, I've seen the same people because that guy closed his short position on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. He closed his positions, and now people are saying he's going long. We're gonna win. We're on the right side. It's like, well, no. Like, how is it? One way it's logical. Like, if he's short, that means that we're going to pump it and hunt him out. And now that he's going long, we're on the same side. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I mean, he was short and he did cash out, I think, in the green. That guy did. And now I don't know if he's going long though, right? I don't think that he's opened up a long position. I think that he's actually just neutral. But that doesn't mean that we have to go up just because he closed his short position. Oftentimes, once those shorts get closed, that's when the market does flush out. Because the market can't flush out and just give that guy all the money. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking without actually like having evidence to back that up. But that's just my way of logical thinking, I guess. I don't know if it is logical or not, but that's just how I think of it. But I'm rambling at this point, guys. I'm gonna end the video. Okay, $1,900 now for Ethereum. We're probably gonna go down to $1,600 to $1,400. Don't get caught with the herd, man. If you're running with the herd, understand that the more people that agree with you, the more likely you're gonna be screwed. And yeah, I just encourage you guys, if you're ever looking for sentiment, the best way to look for sentiment is to check YouTube comments. My videos are fine, right? But I don't have the biggest following. Check guys that have like 500,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, 200,000 subscribers. Check what they're saying in the comments. Are people bullish? Are they optimistically bullish? They're hurting. They're talking about how much they're hurting, but they're still bullish, because that's what I see. I see a lot of people who are griping and crying, and they're saying that, you know, that they're still holding on, but like they're kind of uncertain. It's oftentimes like that. The final kill is what's needed to just shake out the weak hands, man. Don't be weak hands. Don't be paper hands. Do not mistake a low as a selling opportunity. It's a buying opportunity. We are about to have a phenomenal rally. It's coming. It's just delayed, and it's depressing, but it's going to happen. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.